Hello, everyone. Welcome to Yin and Restorative Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. As usual for this style of practice, you'll want to have at least one pillow, maybe two or three pillows, a blanket, or a beach towel that you could fold up, a couple of yoga blocks if you have them around, and a strap, just in case. So please begin in a comfortable seat of your choice. It may be comfortable to prop your pelvis up on a folded blanket or pillow. I'm using both here and sitting towards the front edge of it so that the knees can fall more easily towards the floor, especially if you have any tightness in your hips. Then as you let your hands rest on your lap, either turn the palms to face down to help you feel more grounded, or turn the palms face up to help you feel more energized. Perhaps bring the thumb and first finger to touch. So I'd like to begin the practice by sharing a little bit of Tara Brach's book, Radical Acceptance, Embracing Your Life with the Heart of Buddha. If you're not familiar with Tara Brach, she is a renowned mindfulness Buddhist teacher as well as a psychologist, clinical psychologist who's been practicing for over 20 years. And she talks about a prevalence in seeing so many clients over the years, a prevalence of being in a trance of unworthiness. That's how she calls it, a trance of unworthiness, this inability to accept oneself. And she saw that there were commonalities in her clients in the ways that they manage the pain of feeling inadequate, the pain of feeling not enough. And here are a few that she saw. They embark on one self-improvement project after another. 2, they hold back and play it safe rather than risking failure. 3, they withdraw from their experience of the present moment. 4, they keep busy. And she says that staying occupied is a socially sanctioned way of remaining distant from pain. 5, she says that they become their own worst critics, that running commentary in the mind. And 6, they focus on other people's faults. And neither of these alone are necessarily that strong, but she says when the efforts are driven by the fear that we are flawed, then we deepen the trance of unworthiness. So what might be an antidote to this? She says that the Buddha taught that going to the root of our suffering and seeing it clearly was the beginning of freedom. You might remember this in yoga philosophy as viveka, as vidya, seeing things clearly. When we talked about the kleshas, the root causes of suffering, very parallel to this. As the Buddha said, all suffering or dissatisfaction arises from a mistaken understanding that we are a separate and distinct self. This perception of selfness, this over-dominant ego, right? This I-ness imprisons us in endless rounds of craving and aversion. If you might remember the root cause of suffering, there's this clinging, right? Trying to get to something that's not here and that's not now, or aversion, trying to run away or reject or distract ourselves from what's here. So very parallel. And when our sense of being is confined in this way, we have forgotten the loving awareness that is our essence and that connects us with all of life. And so she hints, our most habitual and compelling feelings and thoughts define the core of who we think we are. I'll say that again, our most habitual and compelling feelings and thoughts define the core of who we think we are. Brings us back to meditation and yoga, taking a look at our patterns, especially our mental patterns, including our emotional patterns. So as we sit here now, perhaps closing the eyes to help begin to tune inward, let's start with a physical layer. Notice any sensations in your body. The body not separate from the mind. Feel into the quality of your breath just as it is. Don't have to change it. Let that be a window into your mind state. Are there any predominant thoughts looping right now? Is your attention drawn somewhere? And now let's continue this self-study. In yoga practice, it's called svadhyaya in Sanskrit. Throughout this next hour and 5 minutes, as we move from one physical posture to another, as we breathe, and as we sit with our minds in meditation. Let's join the hands together at the heart. To whom might you offer or dedicate the efforts of your practice to today? And sending that out, creating resonance together as we share practice and helping to lengthen our breaths. Let's take 3 chants of Om, finding a moment of silence after each. So exhale all this breath out to your mouth. Take a deep inhale. Slowly deepen your breath. Feel your lungs, your belly gently expand, hovering at the top for a few seconds. And then ease the exhale out to your mouth with a gentle whisper, hovering at empty for a few seconds. Continue for a couple more rounds of breath like this. As you continue to whisper your breath audibly but gently, I invite you to close the lips so that you're only breathing through the nose if that's possible for you. So creating that sound by gently narrowing the back of your throat in the practice of Ujjayi Pranayama, which means victorious breathing. Allow this breath work to calm your nervous system and give your mind a steady sound to connect it to the present moment. So as you continue to balance your breath through your nose, let's release the hands, gently open the eyes. Begin to roll the shoulders forward and up as you breathe in. Exhale the shoulders behind you and down as you breathe out. Nice and slow. Take it for about 4 more breaths. And as you finish this exhalation, keeping the shoulders releasing down, Let's start to circle the head. Tilt your chin towards your chest. Inhale, circle your head to one side. And then lifting the chin. Exhale to the other side and dropping the chin. Continue another circle in this direction. And then 2 more circles in the opposite direction. Listen to your breath. And then relax, lifting your chin parallel to the ground. If you're sitting cross-legged, I invite you to switch the cross of your legs as we begin to warm up the lower body, pelvis, the lower spine. Press your hands onto your lap, lift your spine through your crown, keep the shoulders relaxed, and then let's begin Sufi rolls. Inhale to the right, leaning forward, to the left as you exhale, leaning back. Circling your spine to your breath pace. You might imagine there's a hula hoop hovering just around your rib cage, and you're trying to touch the inner circumference of that hula hoop with the 4 walls of your rib cage. And let's go in the opposite direction. Feel the fullness of each breath. Complete emptiness at the end. And we'll continue loosening up our lower body here. So let's start to make our way down onto our backs. You can put your props aside for now. And as you're lying on your back, bend your knees into your chest. And start to rotate the thighs apart, breathing in. Together, breathing out. Keep going. Several more rounds of breath. Treat it like a vinyasa flow. A gentle, breath-led movement. We're in no rush to get anywhere. Switch directions. And notice any sensations that might shift or become more revealed. And then from here, set your feet on the floor so that they are on the ground wider than hips distance apart. Have your knees just as wide apart as your feet. And then you might open your arms out to the side so they're out of the way. Let's windshield wiper the shins to the breath. Inhaling, drop the knees both to one side. Exhaling, knees both to the other side. About 10 more cycles of breath. Keeping the movement slow so that you're synchronizing a slow breath with the movement. Tune into the sound at the back of your throat. Let it offer a tool for practicing concentration. Dharana, the 6th of 8 limbs of yoga. And then finish this last cycle of breath. Now, whichever direction your knees land, please turn over to that side and slowly press up to stand on your hands and knees. Still in gentle movement here, we'll begin a few rounds of cat-cow. So knees a couple inches behind your hips, wrists on the ground right under your shoulders. If you'd like to stretch into your inner wrists as well, you can spin out the hands whatever degree feels like a balanced stretch for you. Then as you breathe in, glide your chest through your upper arms and coil it up, dropping the shoulders. As you breathe out, lift your belly towards your back, dropping your head, round the back. Keep going. Inhaling to lift the heart, broaden the collarbones. Exhaling, contract the belly, stretch the back. Go for at least 5 more cycles of breath. We know that this movement of extending and flexing the spine is helpful to tone the vagus nerve, which in turn helps to activate the relaxation response of your parasympathetic nervous system. And we're also warming up the spine, warming up the shoulders, a little bit of the hips. When you finish your next exhalation, start to walk the feet up to the top of your mat in a standing forward fold. Feet apart, hips distance, parallel, knees very generously bent so that your belly could rest onto your thighs as you tilt your weight forward towards the front of your heels. Catching hold of opposite elbows with your hands, begin to sway your spine, knees loosely bent, neck loose. You might softly move your skull to make sure that's the case. And as you continue to sway, try switching the cross of your arms. As you completely drop your skull, lift your shoulder heads up, clearing more space for your neck. 3 more breaths here. Crawling your fingertips either onto the ground ahead or your legs. Inhale, lift your chest through your arms in a half forward fold, firming the belly in. Exhale, fold. Twice more. Inhale, draw your sternum and crown forward, but glide your shoulders back. Leaning more weight towards the fronts of your heels. Exhale, fold. Once again, inhale, rise halfway up. Feel the stretch along the sides of your waist. Exhale, fold in. Bend your knees a lot, drop your head and arms, and begin to roll up on an inhalation, stacking one vertebra at a time. Lifting the head last as you roll your shoulders back and down, palms facing forward, standing in mountain pose. Let's take a few half-sun salutations here. As you press the earth with the 4 corners of each foot, draw your navel in and lengthen your tailbone towards the ground, right between your heels. Lift through the crown of your head. And with your shoulders relaxed, inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Maybe your palms touch, looking up. Exhale, bend your knees and bow with a long spine. Press the ground of your legs. Inhale, rise forward halfway up. Exhale, fold again. From down through your feet, inhale, sweep the arms, rising all the way up. Exhale, join your hands down your midline. Twice more, half sun salutation. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, press with your fingertips and lengthen forward. Exhale, bow again. Root down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, down your center. Take this last half sun salutation on your own. We'll meet standing in mountain pose. As you arrive in mountain pose, please bring your palms to touch, your feet to touch, standing tall. Allow a moment to define an intention for your practice. Gopal, Gopal, Gopal. Gopal, Gopal, Gopal. Lifting your heart, bow in towards it. Take a deep breath. Hold it at the top for a moment. Sealing that intention. And exhale through the mouth. Please find your 2 blocks or 2 props that you can put on either side of your feet. And let's step the ball of your left foot back. A little more gentle movement to warm up. Coming into a high lunge or back knee to the ground, a kneeling lunge. Choose what's more comfortable for you to be able to relax your shoulders, keep your neck long. As you breathe in here, feel your pelvis sink towards the ground, bending the front knee just on top of the heel. And as you breathe out, begin to scissor your right outer hip back so that you're straightening your front leg, whatever degree possible, and bowing to the inside of it as if you have a flat back. Inhale, rebend, front knee into your lunge. Exhale, straighten, and bow. To your breath, take 3 more cycles. Nice and slow, mindful movement. This time, please lower your back knee. Lift the chest forward, relax the shoulders, keep the hands down. Just 3 breaths here. You might scoot the right heel forward a bit and give your left hip flexor, top of the thigh, a deeper stretch, just as long as you're not straining. One more deep breath. Tuck your left toes. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Step the right foot back. Try to find the same variation of the lunge that you just practiced. Front knees right over the heel, back knees lifted or on the floor. Take a deep breath. Exhale, scissor your left outer hip back, straightening your front leg as you bow inside of it with a flat back. Inhale, rebend, front knee into a lunge. Exhale, slowly straighten the front leg as you bow. And to your breath rhythm, 3 more cycles. As you finish the last cycle, lower your back knee in a kneeling lunge. Let's take a few breaths here. You might offer your right hip flexor, top of the thigh, deeper stretch by sliding your left heel forward an inch or so. Shoulders relaxed, heart space wide open and buoyant. Let's take one more deep breath. And this time, please step your left knee behind you and come down to all 4s. Now you may want to grab a pillow, blanket, and place it at the top of your mat as we prepare for a yin posture, single pigeon. So start from hands and knees, then turn out your right thigh at the hip and cross your right shin on the mat in front of your pelvis. Slide your left leg straight behind you and tuck the toes. Then place your hands alongside your hips. Take a moment to lift your pelvis off the ground and scissor your right outer hip back, bringing your left outer hip forward. Now, if you find that there's a gap between your right glute and the floor, grab whatever of your props fills that gap most evenly. So your hips are evenly facing forward, then untuck your back toes. Some of you might be crossing your right shin parallel to the front edge of your mat. If so, make sure that you are flexing your right foot to stabilize your right knee. And then let's take a deep breath, lifting your chest. Exhale. Notice if it might be possible to begin to bow forward. Take your time here. We're going to be in this posture for 3 minutes. Watching the clock now. Now you might reach for any of your props. Stacking blocks for your forehead, big pillow to hug. See what allows your body to be as comfortable as possible so that it can be still as you notice your breathing. Regulating deep inhales, balanced with slow exhales. And in the steady sound of your own breath, notice if anything internally begins to surface. Continuing the yogic practice of self-study. Are there patterns of thoughts? Predominant emotions? Notice any inclination to run away or distract yourself from noticing. No judgment here. We're simply building awareness of our patterns to help us see more clearly. And is there an attachment to anything? Clinging to, grasping towards? We have 15 more seconds here. Take a few breaths as you begin to lift your torso up and slowly make your way back into child's pose. letting your feet come together, knees together or apart, as you sink your pelvis to your heels and place your arms wherever it's most comfortable for you to be for about 10 breaths. What happens when your body is still? Where does your attention go? Let's take one more breath here. And begin to rock forward onto hands and knees. Turning out your left thigh at the hip, cross your left shin in front of your pelvis. Slide your right leg straight behind you, tucking the toes. And place your hands alongside your hips. Lift your pelvis off the floor and scissor your left hip back. Bring your right outer hip forward and notice if it might be helpful to place a prop under your left glute. If your left shin is parallel to the front edge of your mat, make sure you're stabilizing your knee by flexing your left foot. Untuck your right toes, take a deep breath, and open the front of your torso, lifting your chest. And take your time. 3 minutes begins now, easing towards bowing in whatever degree is available on this side. Using any of your props to support your body. You still hear your body breathing. Sustaining and rebalancing the breath in and out. Feel into your neck and shoulders here. Allow that area to soften. Invite your jaw and tongue to unwind. Feel ease around your eyes, around your forehead and temples. Last 15 seconds. Take your time. Begin to lift your torso. We'll meet again in child's pose. And you might change it up. If you had your knees together last time, you might open the knees. If you had your arms behind you, you might bring them forward. 10 breaths. Listen in. Let's finish one last breath here. And begin to walk your hands to the right. Keep your chest close to the floor. Coming into a side stretch as you breathe into the left wall of your rib cage. Last 5 breaths here. Slowly walk your hands through center. Switch over to the left side. 10 breaths in total here. Feel the breath along the right side of your torso. And then slowly come back through center. Plant your hands alongside your knees. And as you breathe in, slowly roll your spine upright, lifting your head last. Now let's set up for Supta Virasana, or Supine Hero's Pose. So that means scoot up to the middle of your mat and either have a seat with your shins on the floor, knees no wider apart than hips distance, toes all pointing back. You could have a block between your ankles. If your knees need less bend, you can make that even thicker, stacking 2 blocks, a blanket. You could even fold up a blanket and place it right behind the backs of your knees. That gives additional knee support. Otherwise, if you can comfortably sit on your calves, you might see if you could also move the calves aside and sit on the ground right in between your heels. Make sure that you can feel your pinky toenails pressing into the floor. That just helps to adjust safe alignment in your knees. Now behind you, you're going to set up a couple of blocks. One very tall block, furthest away, in which you're going to land the back of your head, possibly. You may not lay that far. That's fine. Second block, medium height, across your mat. You'll have the blocks spaced apart so that if you happen to lie all the way back onto them, the area that's right underneath your shoulder blades will land onto that medium height block in the back of your skull on the furthest. So they're there just in case. And then start with your hands alongside your hips. Think of lifting your frontal hip bones and directing your tailbone downward, perhaps even forward towards the space between your knees if you begin to lean your torso back. Take your time here. We're going to be in this posture for about 4 minutes. I'm already looking at the clock. Breathe in. Breathe out. Listen to the sensations in your body and pace yourself as you explore whatever depth or intensity might be available in each moment. Try to keep your knees on the ground, especially if you're leaning your torso back. And if and when you happen to lean all the way back into the blocks, you could either raise your arms overhead and catch hold of opposite bent elbows, letting the arms drop towards the floor. That will accentuate opening the front of your shoulders. And the supported back bend. Or you could turn the palms up and just lay the arms slightly away from your sides. And choose what is most appropriate for your body right now to feel comfortable, yet to feel that it's opening up. Steady breaths. You've already finished the minute and 15 seconds. You might find your attention wandering off into the past or wandering off into the future. Simply let go of following that storyline and return to the sound of your breath, which is here in the present. We're halfway through. Some of you who are already leaning on the blocks may want to tilt the block that's under your skull to the same height as the block that's under your rib cage, offering a bit more of that lift in the chest. Breathing in slowly as you breathe out. You notice anything shifting here? Maybe physically, maybe energetically. Maybe mentally. Down to 20 more seconds. Now take the transition out in increments. Come a little bit out of it, pause for a few breaths. Then a little bit out of it, pause for a few breaths. Eventually extend your legs in front of you. And we'll prepare for a supported twist. Please take your pillow, place it down the midline of your mat towards the front half of your mat. Put the other props aside. You might want a blanket. Actually, you might want a block as well for your forehead in case you want to lie face down. Have a seat with your right hip up against the back edge of that pillow. Extend both of your legs towards your left wall. Leave your right leg there and slide your left leg towards the rear of your mat. Now you have an L shape in your legs. Place your two hands along the left and right sides of the pillow and turn your chest completely to face the front of your mat, making any adjustments from your pelvis down your legs, like bending the knees or slightly swiveling the right hip back until your chest is completely facing forward. And then take a deep breath. Elongate the front of your spine. Taking your time, begin to lower your belly onto the pillow. Now, if it feels like it's too far to lower onto, you might grab a blanket and place that right here so that the blanket meets your belly. You might use a block and create an incline out of that pillow. Using your props to support your body. I'm watching the clock now for 3 minutes before we switch sides. Back to your breath. Back to paying attention to what unravels in each moment of your practice. Notice if your breath pattern has changed. halfway through the 3 minutes. Now entering the last 15 seconds. Very slowly begin to lift your head, your torso. Leave the props where they are. Turn a face away from the props towards the rear of your mat with both legs extended forward in stick pose. Take about 5 breaths here, sitting tall, shoulders relaxed. Notice what you feel. Now keep your right leg where it is and slide your left leg to your left side so that it is facing your right wall. Turn your chest completely to face the front of your mat as you frame the pillow on left and right sides of your hands. Adjust your pelvis and legs however you need so that your chest completely faces the front of your mat. Lift the front of your torso as you breathe in. And begin to lower your belly. 3 minutes begins now. And if you turned your head to the left or to the right on the first side, you might want to do the opposite here. Is there any part of your body that might feel congested? Like accumulated tension or blockage of energy flow? If so, visualize that area and as though you could breathe into it. Feeling it gently expand as you inhale and allowing that area to soften as you exhale. And now halfway through. Finish one more cycle of breath. And slowly begin to move out of this, coming up to sit. One more time, straightening your legs in front of you in stick pose. Hands along, sitting tall, shoulders relaxed. 5 deep breaths. Just observe here. Let's take a moment for a seated forward fold. If you'd like to grab your strap, you can place it around the balls of your feet. Otherwise, you can place your hands alongside your hips, flex your feet, root down to your sitting bones, breathe length up your spine, then exhale, begin to hinge forward from your hips. About 10 full breaths, exploring the range of your seated forward fold. Remember to keep your neck open, your throat open. By only folding as deep as where you don't begin to round your back, not adding tension to the shoulders. One more deep breath. And slowly as you inhale, lead with your chest and rise up. So we're going to set up for Shavasana now. If you've got any part of your lower back that you'd like to relieve of any tightness or tension, you could use your pillow, place it across your mat. Bring your legs over that pillow so the back of your knees land on it. And shake out the feet for a moment. You might roll the thighs inward and outward, really loosen up your ankles, soften your soles, and then let the feet just flop wider than hips width. You might grab a blanket here to sit on your pelvis, which can feel grounding and soothing. And if you've got anything to cover your eyes, face towel, sweater, place that over your eyes when you lie down. When you come on down to your back, slide your 2 shoulder blades down it. Turn your palms face up and rest the backs of your hands space away from your thighs. Feel your tailbone lengthen towards your inner heels. Feel your head completely heavy on the ground as you relax your neck and jaw. Feel the shoulders melt into the earth. As you close your eyes, soften the muscles in your face. Take a slow inhalation. Imagine your breath expanding from head to toe, all ends of your body filling with life force energy. Hold the breath in without tensing. Maybe sip in a little more. And then to your lips when you're ready, ease the exhale out to empty. Allow the belly to soften and let go of controlling your breath. Let go of doing and allow yourself to be here now. Shavasana. As you keep your eyes closed, gently deepen your breath. Kindly begin to move your hands and feet. Stretch your arms and your legs. Gently roll to your right side and pause. Notice the bhavanam, the feeling tone you've cultivated. Continue to attune to that as you slowly rise, finding a comfortable seat as we sit for 5 minutes of meditation. Have your hands in whatever mudra helps you to turn your attention inward and focus. Thumb and index fingers a touch, palms stacked, the center of your lap. Closing your eyes, maybe softly steadying, eyes open on one spot. Feel your posture and how it allows you to stay relaxed, open, and alert. And rest your attention on the natural flow of your in and out breath. An offering for this practice, if you'd like to build the practice of concentration, if you're feeling that your attention might be moving around, to help steady your attention is a mental mantra, repeating the Sanskrit mantra so, hum. So, hum. It's an affirmation that you are connected to all of life around you. That we are part of a greater one. It's an affirmation of oneness. So as you breathe in, mentally state so. And as you breathe out, mentally state hum, if you're practicing this. If you're a visual inclined learner, you can also visualize the inhale beginning at the bottom of your spine. And as you chant so, it travels to your crown. And the exhale descends from your crown, slowly down your spine to your tailbone. Let's join your palms to meet at your heart center as you lift your heart and bow in. Remember whom you've dedicated your practice to. And remember the intention you practiced with. So how might we observe ourselves as we go about in our daily patterns in light of seeing more clearly a gateway to freedom, inner freedom? Let's close this practice with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.